to stock, back to reality. What is happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video with your boy Thick Whips. Today we are talking about the N20 timing chain guide, timing chain lawsuit that has just gone down. I'll be honest with you guys, I completely forgot about this whole situation. I made a video back when I had my F30 with the N20, and it was talking about the timing chain guide issues, and that was back when people were having a lot of these engines going bad because the timing chain guides were basically exploding. They were faulty. And then once that failed, it would cause the engine to fail. In some cases, the engine didn't completely fail, but obviously a lot of things went bad along with that part failure. So there were loads and loads of information on this whole issue. A lot of people talking about it in the forums. A lot of people that grenaded engines and were out like $15,000 because they had to go buy a new one and BMW wouldn't cover it. Well, I can't say that I'm surprised, but someone sued BMW. And so now if your car was affected and you had to pay out of pocket for any of these repairs, you are being reimbursed. So you are a part of this lawsuit. Now, I am not the only one, obviously, that received this letter in the mail. I've had a ton of messages and DMs from people talking about this, saying that I should make a video on it, and that's usually how these videos come to light. There's a couple of reasons that I wanted to make this video for you guys today. One being that I made that N20 timing chain guide failure video a while back, and this is kind of like the resolution to that video, which is really interesting because when it was going down, I was talking about the issues and how BMW was not taking responsibility for it. A lot of people were pissed off, and here we are. This is the resolution. A lawsuit went through, and now people are filing their claims and they're being reimbursed. The second reason is that if you were affected by this, I want you to have the information to reach out to this company and be able to turn in your claims sheet so you can be reimbursed. BMW definitely knew about this issue. They definitely saw it happening over and over again and refused to do anything about it. And this is what happens when that happens. So I'm gonna grab my coffee real quick. We're gonna head to the spot and I'm gonna read you guys the letter and talk a little bit about it. And then hopefully down below you guys can leave all of your thoughts, all your insights. It's gonna be interesting to hear people who are involved in this, people who have been affected by this, people who have probably already been reimbursed, people who had to pay out of pocket. I'm actually really excited to read the comments on this one. It's gonna be blown up like a forum. I'll be right back. As you saw in the beginning of the video, back on my stock tune. Well, we all kind of knew that was coming. So my EcuTech did arrive in the mail from Speed Industry, formed a new partnership with Speed Industry. You guys, I'm stoked to be working with those guys. But yes, we are back to the stock tune. Unfortunately, you know, I went back and forth with Pro Tuning Freaks trying to iron out these issues with the Stage 2 tune. Couldn't do it. I flashed 3 different test maps for them, gave them logs, and at some point, you know, I'm just spending my time trying to help them fix their own OTS maps. My opinion, that probably should have been figured out before you offered up an OTS map to people and decided to charge them. It's just my opinion. And so I've officially removed the Pro Tuning Freaks tune from my car. Car drives fantastic again. A lot slower, but it drives very comfortably again. It's not surging all over the place, feels a lot better. I also spoke to a couple other people that have gone through Pro Tuning Freaks with Supras, and then they went to EcuTech and they described the exact same issues I was having. And to be honest with you guys, I'm really hyped to go with EcuTech. I think this is the right move. I'm gonna be working with Jeff Payne. Good stuff. We're doing this 100% the right way. Gonna be multiple install videos. I think first we're going to be doing the Flex Fuel Kit over at CES with those guys. And then in the same day, but a second video, we're gonna do the EcuTech tune and a dyno. So it's gonna be a lot of good content coming up. I'm not gonna specifically make any sort of video to on Pro Tuning Freaks. I think that they make really good tunes for specific platforms. I just don't think that they had it figured out for the B58 and the Supra. All right, let's head to the spot, talk a little bit about this lawsuit. It's crazy driving your car with like a certain number of horsepower and then just flashing it, and in an instant you lose like 60 horsepower. It's like so weird. This feels like a completely different car. It just makes me realize like how spoiled we are with having cars that we can just flash tune and get quick horsepower like that. Back in the day, man, like working on Hondas, we had to fight so hard just to get like 20 horsepower. If we got 20 horsepower, we're like, success. You had to fight so hard. But today it's just like, just plug it in, flash it, quick 60 horsepower, no problem. Might be slow, but drives a lot better. Much more comfortable, no surging, no jumping, no throttle closures. Yeah. And if you tune it to the point where you can't drive it like that, then there's just really no point in having that tune on the car. If it becomes uncomfortable to drive, you're just not going to want to drive your car, period. Set you guys right here. Okay. Important legal materials. So like I was saying, you guys, I made a video quite a while ago, maybe a couple of years ago, a year ago, about the N20 and N26. I believe both engines were part of this. N20 and N26 timing chain guide. So the timing chain guide, from what I understand, is just this cheap plastic that was prone to failure in these engines. Obviously BMW knew about it because this kept happening over and over again. It was like early production years. My F30 was built in 2012, but the year was technically a 2013. From what I understand, the earlier models of the F30 328s are the ones that were heavily affected by this. Now, some people had talked about how just, certain parts had gone bad in the engine with the timing chain guide failure, and then others talked about how their engines like completely blew up and they had to replace the entire engine. First off, before we even get into this, you guys, I just want to say, like, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not here to give you legal advice. Literally just a dude trying to put out information so the other people who follow me that have N20s that dealt with this issue can be reimbursed, because honestly, that's just the right thing to do. Like, you should be reimbursed if you were affected by this. So while I had my F30 and it was a 2012, I personally was never affected by this. I never replaced the timing chain guide, never had to. The person I sold it to still has the car, hasn't had any issues with it. So I guess I got lucky. I guess I'm just not one of the people that was affected, and that car was tuned, full bolt-ons. I mean, it had a lot of stuff done to it. We drove it pretty good. So I'm gonna have to assume that my car, my engine just was never affected by it. It kind of seems like this whole thing was completely random. Like, some people just got the unlucky timing chain guide and their blew up, and some people didn't. So I'm gonna kind of go over some of the points in this whole thing, and we'll talk about it a little bit. And then obviously the big part of this is comment down below. I wanna hear your thoughts. I wanna hear if you're affected. And if you don't know about this and you were affected, make sure that you reach out to this company. I'm gonna put their information in the end of this video so you can reach out to them, and I'll link it down below. All right, so this is obviously a claim form. If you were affected by the timing chain guide issue, this is something that you have to fill out. They give you like a whole form here that you have to fill out. And so I'm just gonna read through it real quick. This form must be submitted or postmarked within 30 days of effective date, currently estimated no earlier than March 18th, 2021. So you guys have until March 18th, 2021 to make sure that you send in this settlement sheet. So there also is a settlement website where you can find out more information, and if that date changes, they will post it on there. I'm gonna put that website right here and down below in the description. Claim form to receive reimbursement for eligible past expenses in Gelis versus BMW of North America. So that must be like the law firm, GELIS. Those must be the people that group together and are suing BMW. Complete this form, yada yada, to get your claim. It goes through everything. So let's talk about what it means exactly. So you may be eligible for the following reimbursements for past expenses provided under the settlement. A, if repairs were performed at an authorized BMW center, costs, parts and labor to repair or replace the timing chain module, oil pump drive chain module, or replace the engine. If damage due to timing chain or oil pump drive chain failure, will be reimbursed in accordance with the reimbursement chart set forth on the class notice at item 6. B, if repairs were performed at an independent service center, so like your local shop and not BMW, costs, parts and labor to repair or replace the timing chain module, oil pump drive chain module, yada yada yada, same stuff, will be reimbursed in accordance with the reimbursement chart, yada yada, up to $3,000 for repairing or replacing one failed timing chain module or oil pump drive chain module. The next one says the exact same thing with up to $7,500. So there's like two different tiers of what you can be reimbursed as. These were happening with cars that were like practically brand new and cars that had like 80,000 miles. So it was all over the board with these timing chain guides. So in this entire documentation, they talk about who exactly is suing BMW. It's multiple people that are joined into one lawsuit. So they talk about some of the cars that are affected here. I'm gonna run through them real quick. The model descriptions: X1 SAV, X3 SAV, X4 SAV, Z4, 228 Coupe Convertible, 320i Sedan, 320i Sedan Sportswagen Gran Turismo, 428i Coupe Convertible Grand Coupe, and 528i Sedan. Now obviously part of this depends on like the model, the production years and the production dates and all that. This is a class action lawsuit because there's multiple people with similar cases. So this also says that BMW didn't specifically like break any laws, but this is what is deemed fair and reasonable. I'm obviously not turning one in. I didn't have any issues with my car, but if you did, you should. As part of the resolution of the action, Class Counsel and BMW of North America have agreed that Class Counsel may apply for an award of attorney fees, costs, expenses, and service payments for the 20 class representatives between 1.5 million and 3.7 million. Woof. So there's also an interesting chart in here where they talk about eligibility and mileage. I'm gonna copy this entire page and put it up here. Just read this all. Take a look at it. I think that there's some good stuff in there. So this is also something important to note, speaking on like the future and what would happen in the future with this. Prospective repair program. After the effective date, you may be eligible for full or partial coverage of the costs of future repairs to your vehicle's timing chain module, oil pump, drive chain module, or engine if damaged due to the failure of the timing chain or oil pump drive chain modules. If the repair is performed at an authorized BMW center and the class vehicle has less than 8 years or 100,000 miles in service, whichever comes first, repair coverage will be scaled to vehicle age and mileage as follows. I'm gonna put a chart up right here. Take a look at this. So less than 70,000 miles and 7 years in service, covered by existing 7-year, 70,000 component warranty extension. It looks like if you're over 100,000 miles or 8 years in service, but up to 100,000 or 8 years, it looks like at least some percentage is being covered. So if you have one of those cars with the N20, just sell that shit before you get to 100,000 miles or 8 years. All right, that's all of it. I mean, you guys get the point, right? So if you were one of the people that were affected by this and didn't know about it, or maybe you already knew about it and you also received a letter, comment down below. I wanna hear about everybody's situation. I wanna know if you guys have ran into any issues with your timing chain guides on your N20s. Obviously, we made that video quite a while ago when it was kind of a hot topic. A lot of forums were going off about it, and I think people are still kind of worried about it. Like, I still get DMs to this day, like, did you ever replace it? Should I replace it? The timing chain guide just kind of seemed like random. Like, some cars were totally affected by it, some cars weren't, and just by chance, you could have been one of the unlucky ones and completely lose an engine. Anyways, guys, I thought this was interesting. When I received this in the mail, I knew I had to make a video on it. You guys already know what to do. Comment down below, light this comment section up. Let's talk. Let's talk about this settlement, talk about the N20 timing chain guide issues. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. Please do subscribe, comment down below, like this video, hit that bell notification. Just like that, this video is over, and we're out. Peace.